Hi there, welcome to Henry and Peters here in Tyler, Texas. I'm Thomas Newhoff and this is Linda Cooper. And we just wanted to talk about some of the new things you might have heard on the news and some of the rumors, honestly, that have been floating around about additional relief and additional stimulus payments. And so a couple of those items we just wanted to tell you about and tell you where they stand in our nation's capital.
So I've heard that there's more relief possibly coming. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So the House of Representatives just last week on May 15 passed the Health and Economic Recovery Omnibus Emergency Solutions Act, which is going by the HEROES Act. And so the HEROES Act was passed by the House, and it was on May 15th. It's a 1,815 page document that has massive relief all across the spectrum. And so we wanted to chat about a couple of the tax provisions and then also remind you this has only been passed by the House, and the Senate has actually said that they're not going to pass this bill. Right now it's just in a debate stage, and so they're going to continue to modify and change these provisions. And so important to understand when references are being made to this HEROES Act that it's not set in stone yet.
So what are a few of the things that are addressed in the HEROES Act?
So the HEROES Act includes a few things, and I'll remind you again that these are not final, but one of those things would be another round of stimulus payments, and those stimulus payments would go to pretty much the same group of individuals that got the first round of stimulus payments. The unemployment provisions that were provided for in the CARES Act are set to expire on July 31st, and the HEROES Act would extend those all the way through the end of the calendar year. There would be numerous changes to the Paycheck Protection Program loan that we don't need to dive into details on because it seems to be changing daily anyway. And there's also modifications to other tax credits and net operating losses. But the main point that we just wanted to bring to you is that all of these items that are being discussed and that are being reported on, they are still not final yet, and so keep that in mind.
So what does any of this mean for me or for other individuals?
Yeah, while it's not final and while these provisions haven't been signed into law, there are a couple things you might want to be aware of. And so those stimulus payments were based on your 2018 or your 2019 adjusted gross income on your tax return. And that number determined whether you qualified, whether you made too much money, or whether that payment was reduced. And so if you haven't filed your 2019 tax return before you hit submit and before you have your CPA finalize that return, it's worth looking at that adjusted gross income number to make sure you're not going to reduce any future potential payment. And with that tax return not being due until July 15th, you have some time before it's due for you to wait and see what ends up happening here. Also, just a couple other items are individual retirement accounts and health savings accounts. You can still contribute to the 2019 account through July 15th, and those contributions would reduce your adjusted gross income. So if you needed to qualify for a higher payment. So just a couple things to keep in mind, and also just to stay tuned to what's going on. We'd encourage you to visit henrypeters.com as the changing developments continue on a day-by-day basis, and we'll be sure to update you as there's more information available.